Hello everybody and welcome to Trekalicious. Happy Wednesday. You've made it to the season finale of the Wednesday Multi-Class Fall Championship here at Trekalicious. I am Kuja Terekov, leading you in the commentary this evening for the season finale at Valencia. GT3s and the GT4s out on track this evening at the same time, as it has been all season long in the epic multi-class racing we know and love. Tight and twisty track at Valencia, short but sweet, 2.5 miles, 14 corners. Very recently built as well, built just before the year 2000, so just about 26 years old. And with that being said, let's head down to Valencia, where the qualifying is getting underway here. Got a 20-minute session. The GT4s will lead us out on track, and then the GT3s will follow after that 10-minute timer is up. Brian DeSantiago in the 777 BMW has Professor Chronotis in front of him on their outlaps, with the qualifying session just getting started here. And Justin Beachley in his AMG GT, not too far off of those two in this little qualifying pack. We have the GT4 championship leader here going through turn number 8 on the warm-up lap before the last qualifying session of the season. Justin Beachley having a healthy gap over a fellow AMG driver, Professor Chronotis, just in front on track there in the pink AMG, the number 42 there. And so now we will begin the outlaps to start the final qualifying session for the GT4 drivers. Third place driver in the GT4 standings is Alex Freeman in the AF Sport Aston Martin. Had some good battles near the front. Can't quite get close to Justin Beachley in terms of the championship standings. Justin Beachley has a pretty hefty advantage over the drivers behind. We move on to fellow Aston Martin driver Diego Mostachero in the number 44 Aston Martin, the Naps team, looking for a strong result in the final round, a podium sitter from earlier on in this year at round number 3. Looking to finish on a high note in the final round. He's got brother Andres Mostachero in front in the 105 Naps Porsche. We should see some times on the board there. We've got one from Quan, a 143 is eclipsed by Professor Chronotis. Then Brian DeSantiago slots in second place. Up next will be Justin Beachley across the line, a 139.325, the new time to chase. Where will the two Mostachero brothers finish? Andres goes third. Diego goes in 5th place. Ilpo in the 204 Camaro gets on the front row in second place, about 3/10 off of Justin Beachley's time, and immediately returns to the pits. Where will Josh Ransom go? He will go 6th. Then Alex Freeman behind in that black and yellow. That's Kevin Yu in the pits. This is Alex Freeman crossing the line. He will go onto the second row, about half a tenth behind Professor Chronotis in third place. The number 10 setting the early pace, that's Pak Hei Kwan in the number 10 Porsche, now to the line, looking to improve the time, and can't quite get an improvement on this lap. Coming in for their second laps, this might be a more representative time, with the GT4s not having tire warmers. Takes a few laps to get these tires up to the correct operating window. With a short lap like Valencia, it might take a few laps, but now Chronotis to the line, improves by a few tenths. De Santiago behind him also improves, or excuse me, does not improve because he was not on a valid lap. So they will go around once more to look for more of an improvement. And there is an improvement from Justin Beachley at the top of the charts, a 1:39.235. Now the time to chase. Rally Dutchy on the board in the sister Ginetta to Josh Ransom in the 5:03. Rally Dutchy goes in ninth. Josh Ransom improves his time and jumps ahead of Brian De Santiago. Now the 5:03 Ginetta sits in sixth place. Alex Freeman improves his time. He moves ahead of Professor Chronotis to third. Needs another few tenths to get past the Camaro of Ilpo Ruotsalainen. Ten GT4s in the race this evening. Very tight times there between Andres, Josh, and Brian De Santiago. Same with Professor Chronotis and Alex Freeman within a tenth of each other on that second row. Diego looking for an improvement from 8th place. Andres in front in the 1:05, will cross the line before, see if he can improve his time. Not quite on that lap, and neither can Diego. So it looks like the track just not favoring any improvements at the moment. Rally Dutchy improves his time, but doesn't improve his place from 9th. It's about 2.5 minutes left for the GT4 qualifying session before the GT3s can begin rolling out on track for their warm-up laps. On the last go-around, the Camaro was able to improve the time. Oh, Brian goes deep there at turn number 8. That will invalidate the lap. Justin Beachley trying to go through there on the racing line. Good on Brian to just stick out of the way and allow the AMG to go through. And here is the 204 Camaro right on board, and see how Ilpo handles the second sector here at Valencia, going through turn 6, Angel Nieto corner. Now the slight kink, officially turn 7, approaching the tight hairpin at turn 8. A good overtaking opportunity here going into the tight left-hand corner. Now a bit of a left-right chicane. Hard on the brakes before a hairpin to the right-hand side. And then a very tricky corner coming up ahead at turn number 12. Big curb protects the inside, gravel protecting the outside. Bouncy over those curbs for the Camaro, but handles it fine. Still able to apply the power as he goes over the crest at turn 13 and into the braking zone for 14. And now on the power for the last time to the line. Where will Ilpo finish? Can he get close to Justin's time at the top? He gets closer. He gets within half a second, but there is still 4/10 separating the Camaro from the AMG sitting in first place. And that is just Justin Beachley showing why he has a stranglehold on this championship. Able to get in those laps when it matters in the qualifying. Great race pace and racecraft all season long from the AMG driver as well. And now with the 10-minute mark, that is the checkered flag waving for the GT4 qualifying session. Justin Beachley not improving on his time. Elects to just dive into the pit lane. Thanks, Curtis, for the follow. Hope you're enjoying the racing so far. Just getting going for the qualifying session, and it looks like most of the GT4s are coming into the pits. Professor Chronotis out on a lap, same with Alex Freeman. But it looks like Alex Freeman not improving. Chronotis just kept it within track limits there, still on a valid lap. Needs less than a 10th to get past Alex Freeman sitting on the second row. Getting third sounds a whole lot nicer than getting fourth. And Professor Chronotis will hope to do just that. To also might need that position to stay in front of Alex Freeman in the standings for second place in the championship. So to the line comes Professor Chronotis. Looking for that improvement, runs the perfect amount out of the final corner to keep it within track limits, and now going to the line, and he will get past Alex Freeman, gets close to the time set by Ilpo, but third will be where Professor Chronotis will line up. And into the gravel trap he goes as Sarah Liu goes out for her first flying lap in the Schultz Motorsport Nissan race winner from last week, looking to carry that momentum here into the season finale. Handling the corners very well through the first infield section. And now coming up to turn number 8, going very wide on the entry, trying to carry all the speed into the corner. And runs a little bit wide there, but maybe, just maybe, kept it within track limits to keep this on a valid lap for Sarah Liu. Out of the final corner comes the Nissan, and now to the line. Not a or it is a valid lap. The line came a little bit later than I thought. 1:31.380, the time to chase for the GT3 field. Kevin Yu gets a time on the board in second place. And now we will have the rest of the field slotting in there. Joe Allenson and Jim Reynolds on the board. Brian Zerline looking to do the same in the 25 Porsche, but not on a valid lap. Neither was Shane Sullivan behind. Cattle Boy does get a lap on the board in 5th place. So Joe Chericola, no valid lap yet. Still 6 minutes left in the qualifying session. The number 20 will be next to cross the line. That is John Eric Urena in the number 20 Ferrari. Gets a time on the board in 7th place. So now the Lexus just a few corners to go, up the hill through 13 and back down into the braking zone before the final difficult part of the lap is done. Now it is just foot to the floor all the way to the line. And Chericola gets into the top 5 in 5th place. Sarah Liu returns for a second go around and improves the time to a 1:31.140. Kevin Yu not on a valid lap there, unable to improve from second place. Next will be Joe Allenson to the line. Improves on the time, but needs another second in the lap to get past Kevin Yu, sitting ahead of him in the standings. Brian's Airline gets a valid lap on the board. He sits in 5th place. Clutch Racing on the podium. Welcome. Glad you made it. Hope you're enjoying the racing. We've got the season finale here at Valencia. Devin Anthony sitting in 2nd place in the GT3 standings. Needs to make up a 13-point deficit to Kevin Yu, who leads the front of the GT3 field, to take the championship belt under his name. But Kevin Yu is no slouch, and that is why he is leading this championship in the number 95 Ferrari. A hydrate from Xander's own cheers. Take a sip of my green tea here. And to the line comes the championship leader, looking to improve on the time to get closer to Sarah Liu. Does improve on the time, gets about 3/10 off of the Nissan's time at the top. Devin Anthony improves up to 5th. Then comes Jim Reynolds, and he takes that spot. Or no, excuse me, he will take 3rd place away from Joe Allenson, who was in 3rd before Jim Reynolds. Crossing the line there, about 1 second off of Sarah Liu's time at the top. Next across the line will be the Triarci Competizione Ferrari of Jean-Eric Urena. Currently in 11th place. Looking for a big improvement here to get past Shane Sullivan in the 617 Mustang in the top 10. And will do just that. Gets about 3/10 clear of Shane Sullivan, sitting in 11th place now. And the 20 Ferrari up into the top 10. Some tight times in the GT4 fields as well as this GT3 field. As it currently sits, Joe Allenson, Jim Reynolds pretty equally matched there. Kevin Yu and Sarah Liu pretty equally matched, as Kevin Yu improves the time and takes provisional pole position. A 1:31.007 on the board from the number 95 Ferrari, as Sarah Liu a quick in and out from the pits to get some new tires on the Nissan. Brian's Airline looking to get into the top 5 in his 25 Porsche. No improvement on this lap for him. Still has time on the board to complete a few flying lap attempts. So he will look to do just that. Driver currently sitting in 4th in the championship. Urena to the line. Another big improvement, but needs just a little bit more to get past Joe Cattleboy, sitting in 9th place. Dr. Porkchop behind improves the time in 7th place in his number 71 Aston Martin, just going through the Ferrari there. Devin Anthony in the 664 Honda out of the final corner. Time is ticking out. He'll have time for one more flying lap. Can Devin Anthony improve? He can. Moves up to 4th place and immediately gets taken back by Joe Allenson, who improves the time, as does Jim Reynolds in 3rd place. And so now it is down to those out on track as Devin Anthony returns to the pits, Jim Reynolds in the pits, Kevin Yu in the pits as well. So this is the opportunity for Sarah Liu, currently sitting in 2nd place, to take that provisional pole position spot away from the number 95 Ferrari. Shane Sullivan to the line in the 617 Racing. Improves on the time at the last attempt, but does not improve the position there in the number 617 Mustang. Urena back in the pits. No improvement from the number 20 Ferrari. Joe Allenson just behind the 310 Nissan of Sarah Liu. He goes through turn number 12 now in the BMW. Sarah Liu approaching the final corner, turn number 14. Where will Sarah Liu finish up? Can she take the provisional pole spot away from Kevin Yu? Now will be pole position with all of the field back, and she does take it away by about half a tenth from the number 95 Ferrari. The Nissan gets it done. And so now Joe Cattleboy in the Becht 506 McLaren. Can the McLaren get the jump at the last qualifying attempts? Needs about 3/10, or less than 3/10, needs about half a tenth to get past Joe Chericola, but unable to do so. So 9th will be the position for Joe Cattleboy across the line. So that is the final qualifying session completed for the Fall Championship of the Wednesday Multi-Class League here at Trackalicious. Let's bring you the final starting grid of the season. We'll begin with the GT4s. Justin Beachley leading the championship, leads the GT4 field from pole position in the Beach GT number 18 AMG. We'll have the Flying Finn Ilpo Rutsalainen behind in the Creme de la Course 204 Camaro. Very strong front row there. Professor Chronotis is next in the T-Swizzalicious number 42 AMG. He will have Alex Freeman on the second row for company in the AF Sport number 14 Aston Martin. Andres Mostachero is next in the 105 Naps Porsche, with Josh Ransom in the 503 Skidmark Racing Ginetta behind. And it is Elta Coben with a raid. Welcome, Raiders. Hope you guys are doing well. Oh my goodness, I can't read. It's El Taco Man. My gosh. Wow. El Taco Man, welcome. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys had a great stream. We're getting started with our GT4 grid. Brian DeSantiago is next in the 777 NPG Racing BMW. He starts from 7th place. Next is Diego Mostachero in the Naps team number 44. The Aston Martin will look to get a good jump from the start. Rally Dutchy next in 9th place in the Kuzata Racing Academy 621 Ginetta. And then, last but not least, in the GT4s is Pak Hae Kwan in the number 10 Porsche. And that's the start of the GT4 field. The GT3 field looks like this. Sarah Liu leads the way, taking pole position at the final qualifying attempt there, right at the end. In the Schultz Motorsports 310 Nissan Championship leader, Kevin Yu in the number 95 Ferrari starts from the front row in second place. Then you have Jim Reynolds in the BJ Racing 313 Ferrari starting from third. Next to him on the second row will be Joe Allenson in the number 62 BMW M Team WRT Good Smile Racing. Next is Devin Anthony starting from fifth in the 665 Noobs R Us Honda. Next to him is Brian Zerline in the BJ Racing 25 Porsche. The Aston of Dr. Porkchop starts from 7th in the number 71 Chop Shop Racing. Joe Chericola completes the 4th row in the JCR number 9 Lexus. Joe Cattleboy next in the Becht 506 74 McLaren. Rounding out the top 10 is John Eric Urena in the 20 Triarci Competizione Ferrari. And then Shane Sullivan rounds out the GT3 field in the 617 Racing Mustang. Valencia is quite the fun track, I do agree. Very tight, very twisty. The GT4s especially. We had a great race there in race number 1 in the rookies. Race number 2, a little more hectic, but still fun to watch. The drivers, after a mixed up grid with the crash at turn number 1, looking to avoid that same fate. Going into the very quick left-hander. Aspar is the name of that corner. Turn number 1. Lots of track limits to play with on the outside of the corner there. As the field goes through the part of the track where there is a small little bit of elevation change. Apart from that, the track is mostly flat here at Valencia, with the 2.5 mile 14 corner layout ahead. The stage is set for the season finale. Kevin Yu on the front row leads the championship, has Sarah Liu alongside, who will get the jump into turn number 1. Will it be the championship leader? Will it be Sarah Liu? Will there be any fight from the back from Devin Anthony sitting in second place, or Jim Reynolds in third in the championship? Only time will tell. 50 minutes of racing lie ahead of us. There is the green light. Long run up into turn number 1. It looks like Sarah Liu already has Kevin Yu covered off going into turn 1. Jim Reynolds under pressure from the Honda. Joe Allenson going around the outside. Same with Brian Zerline. It looks pretty clean so far. Here we go, racing indeed. Jim Reynolds losing that podium position from the start. Kevin Yu looking to get the jump on Sarah Liu going into turn number 4. The switchback might be on for the Ferrari here, but the Nissan has that covered off, as that's Dr. Porkchop going a little bit deep in the background there. As in the GT4 field, Ilpo Rutsalainen getting a fantastic getaway, gets the lead. Justin Beachley drops back to third place. There's a little bit of intermingling there happening between the back of the GT3 field and the front of the GT4. That's a move from Justin Beachley down the inside of Professor Chronotis, and there is chaos up ahead. That's Joe Chericola in the Lexus parked up in the middle, and I think that was Alex Freeman T-boning the side of the Lexus. Should be some heavy damage, unfortunately, to the front of the Aston Martin, going directly into the side, and now the GT3 traffic mixed up with the GT4s. This should lead to a bit of chaos here, as that is Joe Cattleboy running wide at the exit of turn number 12. Brian DeSantiago looking for a move on Andres Mostachero. to the inside of turn 14, but the Porsche has that move covered off. The BMW now looking to use the straight line speed to get past the Porsche in front. Porsche covering off the inside. BMW has to have a strong grip to keep that move sent around the outside, and it doesn't look like he'll have the opportunity lined up quite yet here going into turn number 2. Justin Beachley applying the pressure to Ilpo Ruotsalainen for the lead of the GT4 field after Justin Beachley losing pole position to the other front row sitter Ilpo in the 204 Camaro. That is Joe Cattleboy trying to work his way through the GT4s there. The battle for the final podium position still underway between the 313 Ferrari and Joe Allenson in the BMW number 62, right up ahead of Jim Reynolds. Sarah Liu maintaining a good gap ahead of Kevin Yu, 1.1 seconds, now 1.2 as they cross the line to start the third racing lap. And Jim Reynolds just trying to stay close to the BMW. Still lots of racing to go. Doesn't want to be too eager lining the move up just yet. A lot more difficult to line up a move in the GT3s than it is in the GT4s, as Dr. Porkchop was looking for a move, and Devin Anthony looking to the inside of the number 20 Ferrari, and Dr. Porkchop ahead, battling with Shane Sullivan into turn number 4. The Mustang covers off the inside, Devin Anthony to the inside as well. Two battles going on here at the same time, right out on track. Devin Anthony getting ahead of the Ferrari, now looking to chase down the battling duo of Dr. Porkchop and Shane Sullivan up in front. Dr. Porkchop now falling back a little bit from the Mustang, certainly under pressure from the Honda behind as they go into the final braking zone of the lap. The Honda getting very close there, under braking, super confident in that final corner. Dr. Porkchop actually peeling into the pits to go for the Alex Freeman early undercut strategy. So that will clear the Honda to go chase down the Ford up in front of Shane Sullivan. This is Justin Beachley applying the pressure to the Camaro for the lead of the GT4 field. The Camaro running wide, now covering off the inside of turn 2. It's going to take a lot of grip from the AMG to send the move around the outside of Ilpo, giving just about a car's width to the outside there, not allowing Justin Beachley through, and he sends it to the inside of turn 4. But Ilpo now with the switchback has the inside to turn number 5, but the outside for Justin Beachley will become the inside as they approach turn number 6. Ilpo Ruotsalainen gaining the wide line, looking for the switchback here, but Justin Beachley covering it off well, and he moves into the lead of the GT4s. Great battle there between AMG and Camaro. Justin Beachley versus Ilpo Ruotsalainen. But Justin Beachley showing why he is the championship leader here in the season finale after losing the lead from the start, able to get it back after that great side-by-side battle through multiple corners with the Camaro. And And Alex Freeman and Brian DeSantiago going side by side in turn number 12. Very difficult place to go side by side. Heavy scratching to the front of the Aston Martin. Goes through the BMW there to the inside of turn number 14. But now the BMW very strong on the power. Pulling out of the slipstream. And takes the inside line as they approach turn number 1 here. Ahead in the braking zone. Covering off the move from Alex Freeman. As Alex Freeman here diving to the inside. Brian DeSantiago very respectful, leaving a good amount of space for the Aston Martin, and the 777 BMW just can't keep the grip around the outside to keep 4th place. Or is that 5th place? 5th place in the GT4 field. After 5 laps, Sarah Liu building the gap to 2.5 seconds over Kevin Yu in 2nd place, who himself has built a hefty advantage over Joe Allenson in 3rd. It's around 7 seconds. And then Jim Reynolds not giving any breathing room to Joe Allenson, keeping within a second of the BMW. This is Devin Anthony not giving any breathing room to Shane Sullivan in the 617 Mustang. He might line up a move to the inside. Oh, the Mustang goes deep. That allows the Honda to sweep through, just taking the normal racing line. And now the 20 Ferrari looking to pick up the scraps as well. Shane Sullivan covering off the inside into turn 4. The Honda running a little bit wide, but under control there from Devin Anthony. Now has the gap ahead of around 10 seconds to Brian Zerline, sitting in the top 5. So Dr. Porkchop, the only driver to come into the pits so far. There's been a switch for the GT3 podium positions. Jim Reynolds now up in 3rd. Joe Allenson, it looks like, making a little bit of a mistake there through turn number 12, losing the position to the 313 Ferrari. Alex Freeman on a charge, already on the back of the 105 Porsche, who runs deep into turn number 11, allowing Alex Freeman to go to the inside and has the position going into turn 12. And that is an easy position gained for the number 14. Andres, though, not giving it up easy. Bumper to bumper through the corner and forcing Alex Freeman a little bit to the inside here. With a Porsche not too strong in a straight line, we'll have a hard time keeping up with the Aston Martin in front. So Alex Freeman now up to 4th place in the GT4 field after his contact with the sideways Lexus in turn number 8. Looking to now chase down Professor Chronotis, who's around 5.5 seconds in front. The pink AMG just at the beginning of the shot there, going into turn number 2. Same corner Alex Freeman is entering now. So he has the target set in front, but Andres Mostachero not giving that position up easily, still applying the pressure in the 104 or 105 Porsche, I should say, and applying the pressure very well, forcing Alex Freeman deep into 4, opening up the inside to 5, and the Porsche sweeps through and takes the position back. To the inside, Alex Freeman of turn 8, great overtaking opportunity, and he goes a little bit heavily over the curbs there, slowing down his exit, allowing the Porsche to the inside, very wiggly under brakes, but keeping it under control is Mostachero to retain 4th place in the GT4s. Shane Sullivan entering the pits in the 617 Ford from the GT3 field. Oh, and the 105 leaving a tiny bit of room to the inside. Alex Freeman almost slipping through there. While these two are battling, this is allowing the BMW of Brian DeSantiago to close the gap. He is now right on the tail of the Aston Martin for 5th place in the GT4s. And look at this three-way battle. Alex Freeman covering off the inside, going a little bit deep, but doesn't allow the 777 to go through, and trying to apply the pressure in front while having a car behind is no easy task. To the inside, Andres goes deep, and Brian DeSantiago looking to make up 2 places here, but he, thinking the better of it, will just stick to the inside and look to just take the 1 position. There's a bit of contact side by side between the 777 and the 105, and Brian DeSantiago goes through at turn number 8. Alex Freeman going through at 6. Now DeSantiago through. The Porsche drops back from 4th to 6th place, but we've seen a great fight back from Mostachero in the laps after losing the position. So will we see just that from the Porsche driver? Now it is Brian DeSantiago's difficult task of being the car in the middle, trying to apply the pressure in front, but not too hard so that you lose the place behind. And it looks like Alex Freeman ran a little bit deep into the final corner, didn't quite carry as much speed and get a good exit as the BMW did. So Brian DeSantiago lines the move up into turn 1 and gets 4th place from Alex Freeman. And this battle will certainly be one to watch. After 14 minutes of racing, Sarah Liu in the lead, Kevin Yu in 2nd place, Jim Reynolds rounds out the GT3 podium, then Joe Allenson in 4th, Brian Zerline in 5th place. In the GT4s, you've got Ilpo Ruotsalainen in 2nd place, Justin Beachley in the lead in the 18 AMG, then Professor Chronotis in 3rd ahead of this battling trio. There is Sarah Liu, the overall leader, trying to work her way through the GT4 cars here. And on this narrow circuit, very difficult to get the multi-class done cleanly. And there is a bit of contact between the 14 and the Nissan, and the follow-up contact that allows Kevin Yu to go through and take the lead of the race here. Right as I was saying. Narrow track, difficult to overlap. Prime example, right there between the Nissan and the Aston Martin. Unfortunately, they're losing the lead for the 310 Nissan here. Needs to gain about 4 seconds back to get on the tail of Kevin Yu, now leading the race. Oh, and the 74, that's Joe Cattleboy in the McLaren getting a drive-through penalty for track limits. So much overlapping going on here. That is the GT3 battle of Jim Reynolds and Joe Allenson trying to work their way through the battle of Mostachero, and Josh Ransom, who goes deep in the Ginetta, allowing Mostachero to the inside of turn number 8. And that is the position gained. The Ginetta, huge drift, keeps it under control. Fantastic job from Josh Ransom there, going over the curbs heavily, but keeping the Ginetta under control through turn number 11. Wow. Alex Freeman completing a pit stop. That is the usual Alex Freeman strat of coming in early and getting the undercut done. So we will just have to wait and see where the number 14 will come out relative to Brian DeSantiago and Andres Mostachero, who he was battling with before coming in to serve the mandatory pit stop. Now, after the GT3s have overlapped, it looks like Brian DeSantiago has a bit more of an advantage over Andres Mostachero in the 105 Porsche. Oh, Jim Reynolds there going deep, slowing Brian DeSantiago down a little bit further. That will certainly frustrate the BMW driver a little bit, but not too much. Didn't lose him too much time, and now it's BMW on BMW. Joe Allenson in the GT3 and Brian DeSantiago in the GT4 approaching turn number 12. And so there now the gap we can see right around 2 seconds between the 777 BMW and the 105 Porsche. Ilpo Ruotsalainen in the pits in the 204 Camaro. There is the Camaro coming into the pit stall to get the fuel and maybe the tires in this season championship, whatever you want to call it. During the mandatory pit stop, there is a 25-second refueling window, or not refueling window, a mandatory 25-second refueling time, and then it is up to the drivers whether they want to add 5 seconds to that pit stop time and take fresh tires. And around a track like Valencia, and especially in a car like the Camaro, it likes to use up a lot of the tires. So I would suspect most of the drivers to take on fresh tires in the race here this evening. And so after losing the position to Jim Reynolds earlier on in the race, Joe Allenson has caught back up to the final podium sitter in the 313 Ferrari up ahead, as they begin to work their way through a bit of traffic. Now approaching some clean air up ahead. The battle will pick up here between BMW and Ferrari. So Jim Reynolds taking the defensive line through a few corners, but not too hard, and a bit of a wiggle out of turn number 6, excuse me. Might allow Joe Allenson to creep up ever so closer into the braking zone, but the Ferrari has the opportunity covered off. Staying up in front of the fast charging Joe Allenson. There's Shane Sullivan staying to the side of this battle under blue flags after serving that pit stop earlier on. Him and Dr. Porkchop having a battle of their own. Of the two drivers who have already completed that mandatory pit stop. Justin Beachley, the GT4 leader in the pits now from, or in the AMG, I should say. And coming up to turn number 1, both Joe Allenson and Dr. Porkchop can't line up a move. Shane Sullivan with a bit of a wiggle mid-corner, though. Very sketchy stuff there from the Mustang, but keeping it under control. And so the positions remain unchanged. Jim Reynolds hanging on to third place from Joe Allenson. This is what the rear view of the Ferrari is seeing. That aggressive front end of the BMW getting closer and closer in the braking zones. But Jim Reynolds confidently covering off the positions. Needs a strong finish here ahead of Devin Anthony to take second place away from the Honda driver. Jim Reynolds gets a good exit, taking away from the racing line to overtake Alex Freeman in the GT4. And that is the Lexus of Joe Chericola completing his mandatory pit stop, coming out right as this gaggle of cars was coming through. And just behind, Dr. Porkchop looking to take Shane Sullivan. I almost said Jake Sullivan. Shane's other evil twin who drives a car other than the BMW. It could be Jake Sullivan, as we normally see Shane in a BMW, but this evening and in this championship, electing to take a spin in the Mustang. There you can see the difference between the two Aston Martins. Just how much more aggressive the downforce is on the GT3 car compared to the GT4. Bigger splitter, bigger wing.
We are at the halfway mark, still a way to go.
25 minutes completed in the race, 25 still to go. Sarah Liu in the pits from second place, has the fastest lap, needs to get a good stop here to try and challenge Kevin Yu for the lead of the race after her little bit of contact with Alex Freeman going into turn number 11, excuse me. Devin Anthony in the pits as well. Professor Chronotis goes into pit lane also in his number 42 AMG. He is the leader of the GT4s out on track, was riding in third before all of the drivers started their pit stop phase. No! Sarah Liu gets a stop and go for speeding in the pit lane. After taking pole position and leading from lap 1, contact with Alex Freeman saw her lose the lead, very scratched up side to the Nissan there. And now with that stop go 30, that is a devastating penalty to see come the way of the Nissan driver. Kevin Yu in the pits now from the lead. of the GT3s. There's been a change for the lead here between Jim Reynolds and Joe Allenson. Let's see if we can go back and take a look and see how that move was done. Fortunately, a little bit. Just not far enough to see what happened there. So we'll see Joe Allenson here riding ahead of Jim Reynolds in turn 14. Must have gotten it done in that infield section. Lots of good overtaking opportunities around Valencia. If you can get a good overlap there, that's Devin Anthony and Professor Chronotis leaving the pits. And so Brian Zerline and Urena in the pits as well, in the Porsche and Ferrari respectively. So Joe Allenson battled back and got the position from Jim Reynolds, now the overall race leader. Still yet to complete that mandatory pit stop, though, is Joe Allenson and Jim Reynolds. Behind him there in the 313 Ferrari. My goodness me, there's penalties coming left and right. Drive through to Josh Ransom, stop go to Rally Dutchy. And my goodness me, oh indeed. Sarah Liu clears her stop go 30 penalty. And Joe Allenson and Jim Reynolds still electing to stay out on track here. Brian DeSantiago going to the inside of turn 2. He has completed the pit stop, as has Diego Mostachero, so this is a battle for overall position. The Aston Martin goes to the inside of turn 4, and it looks to hang on, but can't quite hang on, but still trying to hang a nose into the inside. And the 777 BMW gets ahead of the 44 Aston Martin and will look to use the clean air in front to chase down drivers in front. Andres Mostachero, the last driver in the GT4 field to complete the mandatory pit stop, was battling with the 777 BMW here before all of those pit stops. Oh no, the cocktail made you forget about the race. Must have been a really good cocktail. Let me know what you made. I kind of want one too. I might have one after this race is done. Heavily over the curbs, both the BMW and the Aston Martin need to keep it clean though to avoid picking up those drive-throughs for track limits. We have seen a few drivers pick those up, one in the GT3s and one in the GT4s here. And Andres Mostachero now out of the pit lane. There's the Porsche rolling out into turn number 1. And it looks like the 105 will retain the position in front of the 777 BMW. Brian DeSantiago's pit stop was about 6 seconds longer than the 105 Porsches. So perhaps that playing a factor into why the Porsche came out in front of the BMW driver. This is the lead of the GT3s. Jim Reynolds getting so close into the braking zone, nearly going into the back of the BMW. Now the gap really opening up here as they go into the final corner, approaching a bit of cars up ahead. Both drivers, it looks like, comfortable to stay out for another lap here as we complete 20 racing laps here in the season finale. Still 18.5 minutes left to go. Who will finish on the podium? Will it be the BMW of Joe Allenson up ahead of Jim Reynolds here in the 313 Ferrari? Or will the Ferrari find a way back to take the podium place away? These two have been battling all race long, staying within a second of each other all the way up until this point. Now, after the pit stops, the gaps have opened up a fair bit between the drivers. Still waiting for these two here to take a trip to the pit lane. Approaching more cars in front. This might be the chance that Jim Reynolds was looking for to get closer to the BMW, as these two now approach the GT4 leader, Justin Beachley, in the number 18 AMG on the left-hand side of the track there. This camera gives a great view of what the multi-class overlap looks like. And again, the BMW and the Ferrari staying out for another lap, so they are going for the mega long run here. And that is Sarah Liu getting past Urena for position in 6th place after serving the stop-go 30. Sarah Liu came out in 7th place, now gets ahead of the Ferrari, and a very sketchy moment there as they were approaching the number 10 Porsche of Kwan. When you grow up, you want to be fast in ACC. I feel you there. It is a tricky sim to find yourself in that top percentile of the lap times. But it's all really in the fun of it. If you can find some good friendly and fun competitive competition with a similar pace, similar driving styles, similar etiquettes, and that's what the fun is all about here. So Sarah Liu has that gap to chase down in front. Jim Reynolds still staring at the back of the BMW. And he has had enough. Into the pits comes the 313 Ferrari. Will we see the undercut successfully get done here by the BJ Racing team? Or will Joe Allenson be able to stay out in front? Brian Zerline under pressure from Devin Anthony in the 664 Honda, looking to take that 4th place position away from the Porsche driver to help himself in securing 2nd place in the championship. Has a 9-point gap to Jim Reynolds, who is currently in the pits. So we'll have to wait and see where the 313 Ferrari will come out relative to the Honda, who nearly goes into the bumper of the Porsche out in front. Thank you for that follow, by the way. Missed that earlier on with the action happening out on track. Devin Anthony to the inside of turn 11. Brian Zerline surprised by that move. Couldn't close the door to the inside, and the Honda sneaks through, and Brian Zerline can't quite fight back. There's another follow. Legendary D33, thank you for the follow. Hope you're enjoying the racing this evening. Season finale here. 14 minutes left in the season. Who will finish on top in the championships for the GT3s and the GT4s? There is Joe Allenson in the pits. Jim Reynolds comfortably ahead of Devin Anthony in the Honda. And Joe Chericola getting a drive-through for track limits in the number 9 Lexus. So Jim Reynolds stays ahead of the Honda. Will he be able to get a quick lap in here to get the undercut attempt done on the BMW of Joe Allenson? I should note Devin Anthony also with a really long pit stop. I think had a considerable amount of damage to his car. So a good comeback drive from the Honda to be as high as 4th place here. So there's Joe Allenson rolling out of the pits. Jim Reynolds crossing the line and going into turn 1. The BMW comfortably ahead of the Ferrari, but the Ferrari is on warm up to temperature tires. And Joe Allenson dealing with a bit of GT4 traffic in front as well. Might allow Jim Reynolds to close this gap in this battle for what is now 2nd and 3rd place after Sarah Liu dropping out of the podium positions with that stop-go 30 penalty. So that is the 21 car field completing the mandatory pit stops. Joe Chericola in the pit lane serving his drive through for track limits. And we got a raid from Papa Slug. Welcome, Raiders. Hope you guys had a good stream. You join us in the final 12 minutes of the championship here at Trackalicious. We've got a good battle brewing between Jim Reynolds and Joe Allenson for 2nd and 3rd place in the GT3 field. Kevin Yu out in the lead after 24 laps. The leader of the race, also the leader of the championship, looking to wrap this one up on a high note. Hello, Rubber Ducky. The 2,333rd Rubber Ducky. And now the battle really picking up here. Jim Reynolds on the back of Joe Allenson. Here's what the tail of the BMW sees, a little bit of a look to the inside. The Ferrari thought about having a move there into turn number 5, but just thought the better of it. Joe Allenson covering off that opportunity, but running a little bit wide on the exit of turn number 6. On the approach to turn 8, the Ferrari once again getting very close in the braking zones, but just doesn't quite have the side-by-side overlap yet to send a move to the inside of the corner. Joe Allenson taking the defensive line there, doesn't want the Ferrari to slip any closer than it is. Jim Reynolds taking the wide line as both of those cars go through the Porsche of Andres Mostachero, sitting in 4th place in the GT4 field, looking to stay in front of Brian DeSantiago. And as Joe Allenson continuing to absorb all the pressure sent his way from the Ferrari behind, but not cracking at all, as he has for most of the race. Under 10 minutes to go now. Oh, and a bit of contact between the Ferrari and BMW. Still able to keep it under control. Jim Reynolds staying back, knowing that that move would have been not quite the cleanest there, but good etiquette from the Ferrari, just lingering back here and looking to line up another move. Sarah Liu gets through Devin Anthony and takes 4th place away from the Honda driver. But we cannot take our eyes off this battle for second and third. Joe Allenson holding off the Ferrari of Jim Reynolds. And if the BMW does take the checkered flag in second, this will be his third second place finish in a row. So once again, with the small track, the short track layout, the rather narrow nature of Valencia as well, these two seem to be encountering traffic at any point of the track they see. That's the number 10 going into the gravel, just dipping a wheel as the 74 McLaren ducks out of the way of this battling duo for the top of the GT3 standings. Joe Chiricola weaving in the pit lane there, getting the tires warmed up after serving the drive-through penalty. And so once again, the Ferrari just not quite side by side enough to send a move into these heavy braking zones to force Joe Allenson into a move, and there's further contact between the two. Once again showing that the Ferrari very confident on the brakes, but Joe Allenson covering off the line very well, not allowing Jim Reynolds any opportunity to go through. To Aston Martin GT4 battle going on here between Alex Freeman and Diego Mostachero. Mostachero running deep into turn number 4. Allows Alex Freeman the inside, and he will gladly take it going into turn number 5. Gets the move past the 44. Good move from Alex Freeman there. Forcing himself to the inside of turn 4 and then confidently taking that line through 5, and now has a bit of breathing room to fellow Aston Martin driver Diego Mostachero behind. Jim Reynolds closing and closing. Down into turn 8, around the outside. Can he find the grip to get that move done this late into the race? Not quite. These two did pit a little bit late on, so their tires should be much fresher than the rest of the drivers, but it is pretty equal between the two of them. Jim Reynolds stopping a lap earlier than the BMW up in front. And was just not quite able to get it. No, Diego Mostachero, after losing the position to Alex Freeman, getting a drive-through penalty for track limits. This is the view from Brian de Santiago trying to close the gap to the 105 Porsche of Andres Mostachero, sitting in 4th place in the GT4 field. So while Brian continues to work on closing that gap, Jim Reynolds had a bit of a sneak while there was some traffic in front, but wasn't able to get by the BMW. The 62 doing a great defensive job here of holding on to 2nd place. That's Josh Ransom up ahead in the Ginetta in the middle of the track there. Very difficult to find a way by for Joe Allenson and Jim Reynolds, who looks to take the wide line and take the corner at a higher speed, but just not quite able to do it there. And it looks like Joe Allenson hanging on to that 2nd place position. Less than 2 minutes left on the clock. It will be this lap plus one more for these two to figure out who will be 2nd and who will be 3rd.
Leaders on final lap now.
Kevin Yu on the final lap with a big advantage over the number 62 and 313 Ferrari here. Nearly 45 seconds is the gap between your championship winner, Kevin Yu, in the number 95 Ferrari, and then Joe Allenson here in 2nd, still holding on to that position from the 313 Ferrari behind. Just can't quite line up the move, but will it be final lap sends from the Ferrari on the BMW in front? Or has Joe Allenson done a good enough job to keep the pressure behind him and not open up any opportunities for the Ferrari to go through? A little bit of contact between the two, but rubbing is racing. And it was good racing indeed. Joe Allenson covering off the inside. And while this battle goes on into turn number 8, we'll quickly tune in to the championship winner, Kevin Yu, taking the checkered flag. And that is the move attempted by Jim Reynolds to the inside of Joe Allenson, but unable to get it done and still roll over the back of the BMW is Jim Reynolds. Can he line up the move? Going into the final corner, the BMW under pressure now as they begin to approach the final braking zone. The BMW covering off the inside. The Ferrari looks to get the overspeed, but it is a quick blast to the line, and Joe Allenson will hold on to 2nd place. Jim Reynolds finishes in 3rd. And here is your GT4 championship winner, Justin Beachley, across the line in 1st place in the race, 1st place in the championship, 1st place from, or 1st in qualifying, 1st in the race, and 1st in the championship, doing some delicious victory donuts. Ilpo Ruotsalainen across the line in 2nd place in the GT4 field. Then you have Professor Chronotis next, taking a podium in the final race in his number 42 AMG, and he will be the last across the line. The Chronotis will hold on to second in the championship from Alex Freeman in third place. My goodness. That was quite a fun race at the end there. Well, really the whole race between Jim Reynolds and Joe Allenson could have been broadcasted from just their two POVs alone. And now we take it back to the studio. That is it for the track action for the Wednesday Multiclass Championship here. I'm sure there will be another one coming out in a few weeks' time. And as always, we'd love to invite our podium sitters from this race to the green room for a quick chat. We've got the GT4s in. Justin Beachley, Professor Chronotis, welcome, welcome. How are you two doing?
Pretty good. A little sweaty.
A little sweaty.
It was hot out there.
It's a little hot out there, you say?
It was very hot out there.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, certainly a narrow track around Valencia for some multi-class racing. How did you guys find the overlap there with the GT3s?
I found it very pleasant. I didn't have any problems with GT3s. We left each other space and nobody tried to pass in a bad spot. It was very cordial.
Yeah, I agree. Everybody was pretty patient for the most part, so no complaints.
Heck yeah. That's what we love to hear. That is what we love to hear. Justin, talk us through the race start there. It looks like you lost the lead there at the beginning. Kind of talk us through what happened there. Weren't quite able to catch it on the cameras.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, there was a little bit of that, but yeah, just that first lap, it's sometimes easy to get caught up in the rear of the GT3 field in the first couple of corners, just because everybody's concertinaed. So, I think a couple of GT3s through picks, there's a little bit of contact, Ilpo managed to slip by there, but I didn't think it was a bad start. It was just a little bit unlucky with where traffic was.
Yeah, that's just kind of how it happens sometimes too with just how it goes.
Sometimes
but
she goes,
your move on
go.
Ilpo was fantastic. He had the defense lined up into turn 2, but you didn't care. You just swept around the outside of turn 3 and then had the inside for the next few corners and didn't really look back after that.
Yeah, I really wanted to get by him. Just judging by the practice and qualifying, I had more pace than him, so the sooner I could get by him, the better, because I know how fast he is. So, might have been a little more aggressive than usual on there, but he's won every race he's entered so far this season, so I wanted to get one from him.
Well, you sure did. You sure did get it back there.
Yep. And Valencia, I being a newer track here, it's definitely grown to be one of my favorites. I usually do pretty well here, whether it's wet or dry, in the GT4s. So, kind of continued that tonight. And yeah, I was very comfortable, even though I ended up with 3 track cuts there towards the end. So yeah, it was a good time.
Well, that's just how it goes sometimes. Beachley goated, says Eric in the chat. And so, just so you know how the chat feels about you.
I appreciate that, Eric, especially after he talked down to me in the stream title in the first race because I chose Zoltan Park for round 1.
Fair enough. Fair enough. You know what? That's what you get, Eric.
He made up for it. It's all good now.
And yeah, on the finishing the championship on a high note for the win, and you got the championship win as well. So congrats on that, my friend. Well done.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think when we had the GT4 Open before, I think we had it split in Pro and Am, and I won an Am class championship. So it's nice to get one that's, I guess, more legitimate at Trackalicious. So,
yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah.
You know, felt pretty good this season, so it was nice to get the championship.
And for those curious about what the points standings looks like, this isn't updated up until the race that just completed, but there you can see Justin Beachley had a, what is that, 40-ish, 35-point lead over Professor Chronotis in second place. So you were able to secure that there at the end. Professor, you yourself secured second place with Alex Freeman finishing a little bit back in the race there. So yeah, 1
cool.
and 2 in the championship here.
Let's go.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to see what happened to Freeman at the beginning of the race, because he was right on pace with me for quali, but then ended up a couple spots behind and then got stuck in the
I can tell a little bit about what happened there. There was the GT3 Lexus stranded in the middle of turn 8, just kind of perpendicularly parked on the apex.
Is
and
that
Alex
the
Freeman.
One?
No, turn 8 is the first like tight hairpin after you exit the like midfield kind of section part.
Yeah, it is the off-camber one.
I get. Oh yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I narrowly dodged that car.
And so Alex Freeman just like went T-bone right into there. So that's what happened to him.
He would have been right behind me at the time. Oh, poor guy.
Yeah, I think that's just what happened. People just went out of the way, and he just had that moment where it was just like, oh, there's a car right in front of me. I can't really go anywhere.
Yeah, and I was already reacting to it really, really fast. So being right behind, really close, is no time.
Yeah, no time indeed. Well, congrats on finishing the championship on a high note here with P1 and P2 in the race and in the championship.
No, Ilpo won. There's Ilpo that won the race. I'm only P3. Or no, Beachley won and Ilpo
Beachley.
P2.
Oh, okay. My bad.
They were both faster
My
than
bad.
me.
My bad.
That's
That's right. Got to get it right here. So thanks for keeping me on my toes and all of that. It's very hard to keep track of all the multi-class battles with so many cars on track too. And it's been so fun to watch you guys battle it out all season long. Looking forward to what the next season will bring as well.
It may or may not have Bathurst in it.
Heck yeah, I love me some walls. The Monaco down under, as I like to call it. So lots to look forward to.
Multi-class at Skyline.
Heck yeah. Lots to look forward to ahead. Thank you both. Any last words from you, Justin or Professor?
Yeah. Thanks everybody for watching and enjoying this season. As the manager and the champion, appreciate everybody.
Rigged.
Appreciate everybody's sticking around and participating and watching, and we'll look forward to another fun season in a few weeks here.
Yeah, keep an eye out for that. We should be dropping an announcement soon. Don't know when, but soon.
Yep.
This week, next week. It's got to be soon.
Indeed. Yeah. Keep an eye in the Discord. Best place to keep up with all of the latest news. I'll move you guys back here to the green room. Thanks, as always, to all the podium sitters for joining us in the green room for a quick chat. No GT3 drivers in the green room, but we can take a quick look at how the championship standings went into tonight's race. Kevin, you out on top by 13 points over Devin Anthony, who had a 9-point gap over Jim Reynolds. Jim Reynolds did have a strong podium finish there, so he might just have taken second place away from the Honda driver at the last race. But Kevin Yu securing the championship with the race win and has the belt now around his waist for the Multiclass Fall Championship. And as I said, Discord will be the best place to keep up to date with the announcement of the new seasons coming up. That wrapped up the Wednesday Multiclass Championship, the iRacing Championship on Thursdays. Not sure if that is still going on, but Thursdays is the night for iRacing. The Friday LMU Multiclass Championship will start soon with the hypercars and the GTEs. Signups for that and all of the other championships will be open on SimGrid, the home to get signed up for all of the championships. Twitch is the place to watch all the streams. Speaking of watching the streams, Monday we will have the championship finale of the GT4 Rookies season at the infamous Spa-Francorchamps circuit. So lots to look forward to in the season finale there. It has been an absolutely tight championship there. It will go down to the wire, I am sure. Thank you all for participating, as Justin said, in the championship. Thank you all for watching along as well. We couldn't do it without you guys here with us at Trackalicious. And with that, let's spread the love from one sim racing community to another. We will get some racing in, or excuse me, a channel in with some sim racing. They are going to be doing some iRacing. This track slaps. I agree. It is super fun for all kinds of racing. We saw it in the GT4 Rookies, and we saw it this evening here as well in the Multiclass. Sure, Eric, I'll take a raid. If you've got one handy, I will be more than happy to let you take care of that. And as always, appreciate everybody joining us and following along, all of the drivers joining us, all the podium. Join us for the raid of MX5 all day in iRacing. Thanks for watching. Have a safe rest of your morning, evening, afternoon, or night, wherever you may be joining us from. Thank you as always. Stick around for the raid. Join us here on Monday for the Rookies. We'll see you next time.